Welcome, welcome, welcome. Plan with me. I am going to show you my April bullet journal weekly layout and as well as my content planner. If we haven't met, I'm Viv. This is Art with Viv, and let's just jump right on in here. Now for my content planner, I changed it around just a little bit. Before, if you've watched any of my other bullet journal videos for my monthly content, what I was doing was taking some scrapbook paper and just sort of gluing it into my bullet journal, but only half of it so that it would fold and make sort of a tip in on each edge so that I would have even more room to plan my content. But as I've been using that, I've noticed that it's really too much room, so I'm just going to do it as a 2-page spread. So I've colored in my monthly content, the title. I'm going to do my flowers exactly like I did the cover page. If you haven't seen that video yet, I will link it in the description. I'm just doing a lighter color of marker and then coming back into that center with a darker color marker and then blending those two together so there's no hard edges. I'm using sort of a pink and turquoise and yellow color theme, color scheme, color palette, whatever you want to call it. Those are the colors I'm using with a nice bright green, and it's really festive to me. It's really spring-like. It's sort of Easter-y, even though Easter is happening at the end of this month in March. But still, April is a spring month, so that's what I was trying to capture the feel with my palette, is that nice, bright, colorful, new spring awakening. So that's all I'm doing to the flowers. I'm just doing 2 designs up here near the top and just coloring those in with my markers. I use the same exact colors that I used for my bullet journal cover for April. And I'm also coming back in and putting in some darker green on those leaves just to add a little dimension. I put a design on each page below the 2 columns. I've marked out 4 columns across the 2-page layout. So it's 2 columns on each page. One will be for YouTube content planning. One will be for social media content planning. One will be for Patreon planning. And the other one will be for any kind of tips or any kind of mini tutorials that I might want to plan. So I've got my 4 columns there, and they take up, most of the page, but they are vertical. And then I'm just doing 2 designs below each of those 2 columns. And it's this, I tried to kind of do the same design but change up the colors. Like one flower is pink, the large flower is pink on the left hand side, but it's yellow on the right hand side. So I just changed it up like that. Now I decided to go ahead with a darker turquoise green, blue green, and outline monthly content, the word monthly content, just to give it a little bit more dimension. And then I am going to take a black fine liner. I am lining around the design. I think that I just like the way that it gives it a little bit more of a graphic quality, cleans up those edges, makes it stand out just a little bit more. Totally optional if you don't like to outline your coloring in black magic marker or black fine liner. Don't do it. Do what you want to do in your bullet journal. Make it your own. But this is just how I'm going to do it. I just find it gives it just a touch more definition, and I kind of like it. I don't do it on all of my marker coloring, but I'm doing it for these little designs. Then once you get all of that fine lines and outlined and looking all spiffy, I'm just going to take that same fine liner and just outline those columns, those boxes for each of my content pillars, I guess you might call them, or my content buckets here. And I'm not using a ruler, I'm just freehanding it. I don't care if it's perfectly straight. I'm going to use it either way, and it doesn't bother me if it's a little bit cattywonka. It's fine with me. Cattywonka's good sometimes. Plus it saves me time. I don't have to get out my ruler and I don't have to fuss with it. And it just seems like it takes so much time for me to use the ruler. One tip is if you are going to freehand it, just pull the marker towards your body and that'll help you stay a little bit straighter. Now I'm just going and coloring in those title lines where I'm going to put the title of each. Just write it in with the black fine liner. YouTube, any tips, social media, and any Patreon content that I need to plan for the month, and that's all I'm doing for that. So now we're doing the weekly, and this time I decided to do the design in the center of the page and do my days of the week sort of horizontally on either side of it. So this is new for me, but I did see another creator do this sort of center design. I thought, oh, I'll try that. That's really pretty. Also, I feel like it gives me more room to write on my days of the week if I make them the horizontal way. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's the same technique, same exact color palette. I'm going in there with the lighter yellow orange, then coming in with a darker yellow orange toward the center, blending that out, doing the same thing with the pink flowers, doing the pale pink first, and then coming in with a deep pink around that center and darkening it up. And I'm just trying to sort of alternate the colors of the flowers so I don't have too many flowers of the same color too bunched up. Gives your eye a nice little break, also creates a nice flow throughout the design. So that's what I'm working on there. Also for the pink flowers, I'm giving them a yellow center, and for the yellow flowers, I'm giving them a pink center. So I'm just trying to keep those colors unified and throughout the design. I'm not going off onto any other colors. I'm just sticking to my pinks, my yellow oranges, my greens, and my sort of turquoise blue greens. I really like this design. It's really simple. It's a lot less complicated than some of my other designs. Also, I just decided to go ahead with the marker instead of doing it with gouache or watercolor. And the marker is, of course, a lot faster than those two because it's just a matter of coloring. That's all there is to it. You just sort of draw out your guide for your design and then you just color it in with your markers. You can add a little more shading in there with some darker colors and then blend it with either a clear blender or just what I like to do sometimes is just take that lighter color and go over the darker color and sort of blend it out that way. Either way is perfectly acceptable, perfectly fine. You have to find the way that you really like the way it looks when you're finished. So experiment with that. I highly encourage you to experiment at all times. Be thinking about what can I try? How is it going to look? How does it look? And deciding if it's something that you're going to keep in your arsenal of tools. So then I got my sort of spring green, olivey green. It's a nice bright sort of yellow green. And I'm just coloring in all of the leaves and the stems. I'm just trying to fill in little spaces. I just want them to be, filled in, but not too complicated, I guess. So here and there, wherever I just see a little spot that I feel like it needs a new leaf, I just stick one in there, trying not to go overboard with them because that's really easy to do. I'm going to go ahead and take my dark turquoise or my blue-green, color in one. This is the first week of the month. I know in a lot of bullet journals, they label their weeks 1 through 52, but I don't do that. I just label each week of each month. So it'd be 1 through 4 or 1 through 5, however many weeks the month actually has in it, or how many it spans through. And so that's what I do there. So I just do 1 through 4 or 5, whatever the amount of weeks is. Sometimes you get that half week, so I count that as a week, and it's like the 5th week. So I'm still going along with my floral design, doing the same things. I've taken my turquoise green, I added a little bit of shading to the green leaves in that middle column, and I'm also adding a little bit of shading to the green leaves over here on this tiny design right by the number 1 with that darker green. Again, just gives it a little bit more dimension and a little bit more depth. Now up here I like to put a little box just for maybe notes or content that I need to create just for that week. So I put a little extra box right at the top by the calendar. And I'm taking my fine liner, I'm just outlining my design over here, this little small design. And then going to go ahead and outline my days of the week. And I just stack those on top of each other, so they're just right on top of each other, making it easy to draw those boxes in. And of course, I'm going to outline that design in the center with my fine liner. Just giving it a little more dimension. I just like that graphic quality that it gives it. I'm also going in there and giving the flowers just a little bit of shading, a little bit of detail, some line work with that black magic marker. Not magic marker, black fine liner. Well, you could use a magic marker if that's what you got. I don't care. It's your bullet journal. It's your art. Don't let anybody tell you what you can and cannot use. And that just gives it just a little bit of extra something too when you just add a little bit of that lining in there. That line work with the black. But again, optional, completely optional. You don't even have to put it in there, and your design will still be beautiful. So we'll get the rest of those days of the week. Remember, I said to pull that marker toward you. It makes it easier to keep the line straight. Now, it's not going to be exactly straight like a ruler, but it won't be too catty-wonka. So we're just going to draw that in. That's my weekly layout almost done. We're getting there. Got a few more little things to do to it. So we need to just put in the headings here for the days of the week. And I'm just going with that turquoise blue. It matches the number 1, keeps my color scheme going that I've been using throughout this month. And just write in the month, the little month up here. And remember, you can go back and erase any of your pencil lines once you're done to make sure that the markers are completely dry so they don't smear. Sometimes I smear mine because I get over anxious and just go ahead and start erasing while it's still wet. But you don't do that. You let yours be nice and neat. And then I'm just labeling the days of the week and my notes, my little notes box. And that's, again, that notes just keeps me on schedule what I'm going to do with that week. So here we go. We've got the April cover page. And then I did the calendar with that little tip in notes and to-do list for the month. Those are monthly to-dos, tasks that I do every month that I need to keep up with. Then my monthly content planner, and then my weekly spread. So if you join my Patreon, you can get all of the outline drawings for this that you know, if you want to put it in your journal, and I'll link my Patreon below. That is at the Dabbler level, and it's only $5 a month. You can't hardly beat that. So just check that out if you want to, and I shall see you again soon. Happy journaling.